Okay, cool. We're recording now. So this is the new meeting invite for the Plan weekly meeting. Victor was running the previous one, but now he's left. I'm gonna set it up. Donald, thank you. So if anybody else wants to be an alternative host, which will also let you set up the recording, please give me your email address because that's what Zoom wants, and then I can add you. I'm going to add Donald because he added his email address, but the more people, the better, really. Like, it doesn't matter if everybody is a potential host, to be honest. And the way you have to do this, it turns out, is it looks like you have to join from the Zoom client. I don't really get how like Zoom signing in works, but it looks like if I join like just from a link, it doesn't recognize that I'm signed in and it won't let me record, whereas now it will. Okay, thanks Valmir as well. So yeah, let me just readjust the agenda real quick. So Jan is starting on the memory team from this week, which is a change from what I said last week when I said I didn't know, but I assumed it was going to be the 8th of May. The reason for that is that there's some important stuff for an important customer that team needs to look at, and Camille, who's on that team at the moment, is heading out after this week. So Jan's using this week to shadow Camille and get some knowledge transferred over there. I was going to look at what's in 12.0. I guess Annabelle and Donald, like that's kind of it depends on how much you, and Welmer as well, sorry, kind of depends on how much you folks want to do it. Like the main reason I was doing this was for Eric's benefit, and I guess if he's watching the recording, we can still talk through what features there are in this release at least, and sort of see if there's anything else that we think we should be considering. Does that sound good to everybody?
It does.
Cool. 1 second then, and I will share my screen. I'm just going to look at.
Do you have any idea of the capacity of the team? Because this is quite a long list.
Yes. So I'm just making a note of that question. So one thing that we do need to consider is that we have GitLab contribute at the start of May. Contribute. I genuinely don't know which one's the right one. I say both sort of alternately and kind of feel like one's right and one's wrong, but I don't know which one's which. So for that, I assume that most people who are going to that, we basically sort of halve their capacity for the month, because although it's only a week, there's also travel to and from. Like a lot of people take time off before or after, so I normally assume it's safe to say that like that their capacity is halved. Now, if they're if they can get more done, that's still great. Like that's not a problem, but I tend to prefer to be conservative there. I think everybody on this call is going, and I think both or all three, depending on how you count, of the UX as in Plan are going to New Orleans. For the backend team, it's going to be 5 out of 10 people. We'll have a new person starting on the 7th, and she's coming to contribute, so she'll be meeting everybody there. And for the front end team, Donald, I think I'm right in saying it is 3 people aren't going and 3 people are, not including you, or I might not have counted the number of people in the team correctly, but I think it's about 50-50 as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
so yeah, both front end and back end are probably about 75% of capacity based on that, because we've got 50% of the people who are going to be out for 50% of the time. So yeah, in looking at what's already in there, so this is like just literally what's in there. I haven't like been going through this and like doing any grooming. I don't know if anybody else has. I'm just sort of looking at what's already there. I'm just going to share my screen. So we've got these features. The top one here about Elasticsearch is kind of a shared initiative between Create and Plan until Mario's done with the MVC for GitLab.com. System note when adding and removing sub-epics, I think got bumped from an earlier release maybe, but I don't see a problem getting that done here. got one to increase the size of the assign labels drop down. Cloning an issue with a quick action sounds interesting. I don't think I've looked at that in a while, but it's got a lot of upvotes. As you can see, it's got 104. Determining whether an issue or MR's task list is complete via API is 100% backend, obviously. Create issue from Epic is also going to be interesting, and warn before applying issue template. So I guess those three, cloning issue with quick action, create issue from Epic, and warn before applying issue templates might be worth looking at. I'll probably do them in reverse order because I'm guessing that the latter two will be smaller. So yeah, what this is saying is that if you've already started typing an issue, or you're editing an existing issue, you can apply a template using the choose a template dropdown. But what that does is it just completely replaces what you've written in the description with the template. And we think that there should be a warning before you do that if you have changed anything, like if you typed in that box essentially. So if you just switch from one template to another, that should be fine. But if you switch, if you add a template, then start typing, then realize you want to switch templates, it should warn you. Annabelle, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this one. It's got quite a long thread. It looks like there has been some UX input, but it sounds reasonable to me.
I haven't looked at it, but I will, because I'm not sure that warning really matches our current design. So
right. That would definitely be useful then. Do you want me to ping you on the issue, or are you fine to just
I'll look at it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then Donald, I think we're treating this as a front end only issue because the front end should have all the information here needed to decide whether that warning's applied. I don't think the back end would even have the information. So does that make sense to you?
Yep, completely agree.
And it's been weighted as 3, but that was from like 6 months ago. So if you want to change the weight on that, please go in and do that. Cool. It's also got the internal customer label. So we use that label for people at GitLab who have a particular interest in certain issues, because we use GitLab ourselves. This also has the internal customer label, create issue from Epic. Annabelle, going to ask you again, have you already, it looks like Alexis was commenting here. So she's not on.
I do have a design for that. Oh, it's because I was thinking about the add Epic from Epic, which is going to be
right.
So I'll copy the design to here.
Is that something we're doing this month then?
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we're doing create an Epic from an Epic, and then this will be create an issue from an Epic.
Yes.
Okay. And then this one, the current design here is following this isn't.
It's not. I'll copy.
Yeah, this isn't actually a current design. The description just says it's how it looks in boards. It's not saying we should do this. It's just saying this is what boards look like, and then this is what it looks like when you create a new Epic. So I think, if you could update that with the Epic from Epic design, because I guess it will probably work very similarly to that. That would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. And then what's this labeled as at the moment? So this is just labeled as front end at the moment. I think any back end work will be pretty minimal, Donald. So again, let me know if you think that's wrong, or let me know on the issue. You don't have to answer right now. Cool. And then the final one here is clone issue with quick action. So we have a quick action to we have quick actions to move issues or mark an issue as a duplicate. What this is saying is that the quick action would be called clone, and it would copy the title, description, labels from the original issue. It doesn't copy any comments, and it doesn't copy the author. The author is the person who does the clone. So quick actions are typically 100% backend, I would say. I don't know what, right. Okay. So this one is another one with the internal customer label. So that's, I guess, why we scheduled that to really help with our internal customers, but also it has a bunch of upvotes. One thing I did notice is it's in the Enterprise Edition project. Okay, so it's set to be in premium only. Does anybody have any concerns over that behavior? I'm just trying to think it through. So just for context, while people think of potential responses, the way moving an issue works right now is it actually copies everything it can to the new project, and then it closes the old issue. So like, it's not a move in the sense that you would move a file. It's a move in the sense that you would, it's a copy. it's not a move. But then like the other one gets closed, you can reopen it if you want, but it's, it's trying to preserve the history basically. So this one's within the same project. You can't clone to a different project. I guess in future we could consider adding, like if you specify a project after it, you can clone it to a different project, but that would be a future iteration. Does anybody have any questions there?
One question in regards to the second item, the new issue has the same labels as the original. If you are migrating one issue from a project that don't have a specific label that is in the one being migrated for, just to understand how does it work?
Oh, right, yeah. So this particular issue is only within a project, but moving is across projects and does have the problem you mentioned there, Walmir. So that's a good point. So what happens there is that when we move an issue from one project to another, we try to match the labels. So for instance, if you move an issue from one project in a group to another project in a group, and all the labels are group labels, that's obviously easy. But you can move it to any other project. So we try and match them by label title. So if there's an issue, a label called bug in the source project and a label called bug in the destination project, we will match, we will add the bug label in the destination project.
I didn't notice that it was for the same project, but thanks for...
Yeah, no, it's a good question, because like if we did extend this to other projects in future, we'd have to consider that. So previously, like what we've done with that and with milestones is matched by name when we move them, if we can't match, if we can't just reuse exactly the same object. One thing I'm just wondering here, looking at this, so it says that no other attributes copied over and the comment is not copied over. Would we expect any other attributes to be copied over? So I'm thinking like assignees probably doesn't make sense. Epic might or might not make sense. Milestone might or might not make sense. Weight might or might not make sense. Confidentiality, I think we should probably copy, just in case you copy a confidential issue, you'd probably want the new issue to be confidential as well. But yeah, I think probably it makes sense to not copy the milestone or the epic, because you might be copying like a task list to then do in a future issue. Let's add that there. Cool. Any other questions on that one? Great. I'll stop sharing my screen then. I'm just going to add those to the doc as well, just so that other people know that we talked about them. Annabelle, you've got a question. I assume it's okay to do this when we're recording and putting it publicly, but if you think we shouldn't, then I'll stop recording.
I honestly don't know if it can be recorded or not. So
let's play it safe, and I'll stop recording.
Okay.